Today we're going to talk about quick, easy, and some of you, when we say quick, easy, you might have a misunderstanding, like something about New Orleans or in reference to an individual. But what we're looking at today is a real good, strong way to dispatch work. And if you're in the shop and you're dispatching work, one of the common failures I see, common mistakes, is that whoever is doing the dispatch doesn't really totally understand or have a system for doing that. So the first thing I want to bring up about it is you have to have the right technician on the right job. For example, if you have a transmission concern come in and you dispatch to a technician that is not a transmission tech, the likelihood that this technician would be successful in that repair is very small. Now, it could be that they say, okay, there's a problem in the transmission. We want to put in a whole brand new assembly and take care of that problem. That's one way to address it. It's just not a good way. And if you have a drivability issue and you have a real strong drivability issue, intermittent electrical concern, and you have one technician that is just, however, skilled in such a way that they love that kind of concern, are they going to be more thorough, efficient, and generate more revenue for not only themselves, but for the dealership? Now, we have several methods of production management in service environment. One of those is to have the advisor manage a team of technicians that directly under them and dispatch the work for themselves to get it done based on their own concerns or what gets done first. It's an interesting concept, and it does have its advantages, but sometimes dealerships leave a weak team alone, and the technicians under that one advisor could be challenged to stay with the dealership because the team that they're on is bad, or the coordination of one team being busy and another team being slow. Sometimes they'll take that and use that as a reason to let one team starve particularly. Or if an advisor selling technique is better on one team than another, technician would get discouraged. Why bring it up to Bill? He's not even going to represent that to the customer anyway. So we have to understand the best practice always has to be considered that we're going to dispatch to the right technician the job that they are most familiar with. And I was talking to my team recently, and I heard this phrase used, and the phrase was this: the real job of management is to put the right person in the right seat on the bus. One is a driver. And you have to have that choice, that selection to be the right person for the right seat on the bus. When we're looking at this dispatch systems or processes, one of the concepts that I love to teach is called the quick easy. And what that means is if you start in the morning and you look at when technicians are the least productive, generally it's in the morning, first thing, and in the late afternoon. Well, the quick easy would be, first of all, that the night before any technician with an open day, if you have a used vehicle that needs looked at, which is always a complaint, we don't get our used vehicles through the shop quick enough to satisfy sales, and it should be, ASAP. And then you got your new car PDIs, and they may stack up and you want to be fair or whatever and disperse them, but preload the bays the night before. So when a technician gets to work, he isn't waiting on an RO to be written up, or he isn't waiting on a customer to show up. He starts wrenching right now. Now, the quick, easy dispatch program would mean that in the morning you would schedule intentionally as many of the maintenance items. If you think it's a brake concern or a small repair or a special order part, we get those quick, easy jobs scheduled and processed into the shop first thing in the morning. Now the technician is going through the day and he's going, wow, I got a good day going here. I'm already turning some great times. They had my bay preloaded. This technician is feeling pretty good about life. And then you would bring in the more complicated repairs, the intermittent electrical concern, those types of items that will require some intentional dispatching to the right person for that job. But if you bring in the quick, easy stuff first, the result in the technician's mind is always positive. Now let's take a look at that and say you bring that intermittent electrical concern in at 8:05, and it's his first job in the day. Oh man, I'm upside down. I'm in an intermittent electrical already, and the attitude between the ears is totally different. Now, what I'm suggesting to you is that if you adapted a quick, easy program on dispatch into your dealership, your technicians would have a better mood, get a great start to the day, and also process more work through the shop. If that brake job goes till the end of the day, now we need rotors, we need an authorization, something gets slowed down, it's blocking up the bays, and it's dysfunctional. So I am totally sold on this quick, easy dispatch program as the right way to do this business. Always also, when you're looking at technicians and the right seat on the bus, someone needs to manage the training for improvement. Obviously, again, the right seat on the bus would say, if you have one transmission guy totally certified, well, wouldn't you just keep all of the transmission training to him? And I challenge you on that. Always be developing your staff, training for improvement. When you take that approach, those technicians understand that when they get a training assignment, it will benefit them, but also train for the future. If you have one transmission tech certified, who would be interested in it? Get involved with your technicians. Who wants to learn that area of the world and get in tune with additional training requirements for that function, and start working to certify another. Always be prepping somebody to step into an additional, totally trained, certified, authorized for repairs, so that the dealership is always developing the staff to maximize the future opportunities. When you go into dispatching also, one of the things that happens all the time, the shop gets busy, this RO gets pulled aside, this customer gets pushed aside. One of the big failures that I see regularly is there's no one really watching, monitoring the one falling through the cracks. One embarrassing time I had a customer complain, you had my car all day to do a recall. And then at the end of the day, it's not done, or you had to order a part? Well, that's crazy. You know what? That customer's right. We need to manage and monitor the work so that no one's falling through the cracks. You see, if you had the Quick Easy in your shop, that recall would have already been processed in the morning. Even if we had to send somebody to get a part, that would have been done, the vehicle repaired, well before noon. Is your team putting down promise times? So when you look at the ticket, the repair order, are you managing the promise times? And are they accurate? You and I have both seen, if you've been in the business a while, times where if you're really pushing promise times and using them, one advisor would take up and say, all of mine are waiters. And the reason he would put them on the waiter status is because he knows that that would process through the shop quickly. And all his customers are taken care of. Then if it gets to the end of the day, the ones that didn't do the fraudulent activity on the status, promise time, their jobs were waiting, and they're calling customers, and everybody's irritated because his customers never get in. So then they would start, gosh, what is he doing different? Well, he's putting them on waiters. I'll do the same thing. And then you have no system that's functioning. So when we're using promise times, use them for the truth. If you promise a vehicle is going to be prepared and finished at a certain time, the shop needs to meet that commitment. What are the parts status? Is it a parts wait? Then what's the status? Is anyone communicating with parts to see if the wait is going well, they've located the item? Do we need to contact the customer and make other situation involvement, such as a rental car or another vehicle? We're not going to meet the promised time. Isn't it best we initiate that contact? Never allow your shop to be the one that gets the call that you have to say, oh yeah, I meant to call you. We can't find that part, or the part didn't come in, or they shipped it to another dealership. We're not going to meet our commitment. That creates anger, resentment, and definitely doesn't get a strong CSI, customer retention number. So when you're monitoring all the time, ask yourself this: what am I missing? What promise times are getting close? Do any of these parts wait? Need to be followed up on with parts department? Your dispatch must be a process that's refined and managed all the time to be functional. And as nice as it is to think, yeah, I've got automated dispatch, I've got this, I've got that. Look, I am not saying automated dispatch is wonderful. It's nice. There's no autopilot. Someone has to still look at it, refine it. Are people fishing through there and putting parts on hold so they can go to the next big customer pay ticket? Are they working the system that you have in place on automated dispatch? It all comes down to these basic principles. Put your people and staff on the right seat on the bus. Make sure that your team is always working to get better at what they do and understand best practice, the best process to maximize your dealership's customer care. Because the last part of this, it does still all come down to taking care of the customer. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. and thank Mike, the moderator, for helping us with this call. Hope everybody stays warm and has a great day. Thank you all. Bye-bye.